All right, let's get this fired up. Make sure Facebook's working as well. Sometimes Facebook doesn't like to show up until later. Yep, looks like we're live on Facebook as well. All right, now I can see everybody's comments and anybody who's over there. Let's see, I need to put my tablet that way. Hopefully that stays and doesn't fall. All right, should be live on Facebook and YouTube. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Gramps Live on a Tuesday. I'm just gonna notice I wore the appropriate hat. If you know, you know. If you don't, so for those who don't know, I had my first heart attack 2 weeks short of my 35th birthday. Um, and it was kind of weird. Now, going back a little further, I've had a heart murmur my whole life. I even was in the army with it. Don't know how or why they let me in, but they did. But yeah, I served the whole time. I had a murmur since I was birth. Basically, had to take medication anytime I went to the dentist or anything like that. But somehow that must have slipped past the doctors back in the 80s. But later on in life, like I said, 2 weeks short of my 35th birthday, I had my first heart attack while I was at work. And literally, it just felt like indigestion. And that's what my doctors, because at the time I was working at Eli Lilly and Company, and they're a pharmaceutical company. So they have medical staff on. And, the indigestion just wouldn't go away. We'd been out to a luncheon for a coworker birthday, and my indigestion just wouldn't clear up. So after about 3 hours, docs were like, "Yeah, you better go get checked out." So they called my wife, and of course I was like stupid and you know followed her to the ER. I didn't want to leave my truck at work. I just wanted to, because I knew I was going to go home that night. So I'm in the ER laughing with my boss and another buddy, and my doctor walks in. Doctor, I have now known for, well, since however many years ago that's been, 20 some years, Dr. Barron. He's like, "You're in pretty good shape for somebody who just had a heart attack." Could have heard a pin drop. When he said that, we weren't laughing anymore. But he over the next few days, I ended up going through a procedure where they run a, back then it was a balloon up your femoral artery from your leg all the way up to your heart, and then they expand the area that was basically clogged. Um, and I won't forget that because people ask me, when I quit smoking. I quit smoking. The last Marlboro Red that I've ever had in my life was driving myself to the ER that day. So 4 years later, you know, I was, I put on quite a bit of weight because I quit smoking, and the way I quit was with through the help of Hershey Kisses at the time. Because when I had my heart attack, I wasn't a fat boy back then. I mean, I was sitting around 200, which, that's dad bod size. But it was after that, when I quit, I put on a bunch of weight, and he's like, it's okay because you work on taking it off later, which I'm doing now 20 years later. But 4 years later is when I barely avoided what they call the widowmaker. Two of my primaries in my heart, where one was 99% blocked and the other was 98% blocked. Now, for those who don't know about hearts and things like that, a heart attack is when there's 100% blockage and it does damage to the heart. Now, I'm blessed enough. I say heart attack to kind of keep it generic, but both times what I had is what was called myocardial infarctions, and that's just severe blockage of those arteries. And so now, ever since then, so I'm 56, going on 57 this year. Yeah, I'm coming up on the anniversary. I don't even know how many years it's been now, but however many years ago between me 56 now and then 35, and then 4 years later was the last two major, heart conditions that I had. Back then, I was a competitive shooter, and my wife gets pissed when I tell this story. But my second one, the one that was the most dangerous, the one they called him Widowmaker, I actually knew I was having some chest pains, but didn't think it was that bad. But went and shot a pistol match, and then I found out later I was pretty lucky that I didn't die in my buddy's truck on the way back, south or back home from, shooting one of these pistol tournaments. But learn my lesson then. So, I get a checkup every annually, to check my blood pressure and make sure everything's okay. And then I get an EKG. It was every 3 years. Well, this year was my, we kind of skipped from COVID. So this year it's like my dad went in and on a whim and got his heart checked because, everybody else in the family hearts are fine. I'm the only one that blew everybody's medical history. But my dad did like a little test and then found that he's got some blockage. And so I think he's going to end up getting a stent put in. But that prompted me to be like, hey, I need to call Dr. Barron. And my ankle's over here. That prompted me to call Dr. Barron and was like, hey, we missed last year, or whatever for COVID. And, I need to come up and get checked out. So we did. I went to my appointment, loved my blood pressure, loved my weight loss, loved everything about it, scheduled me for my EKG that I hadn't had in a couple years. So what I haven't been telling you guys is what they found in the EKG could have been a couple of things. The fear at the time was that this area that in my heart where it's not like everybody else's where it's the defect, if you will, has some scar tissue on it. But if there gets to be buildup, and that happens in your arteries and around whatever, if you get buildup, sometimes they go through and they put a stent in, which is a spring, which holds that area open if it's an artery, or the tube, if you will. But this is actually in the parts of the heart that pumps the blood and seals so the blood can't come back. And this time, what he found was some scarring on that defect. And that's one of those things that you still, to this day, you got to go get open heart surgery for. And so that was my fear, that I was going to end up at the Mayo Clinic next week up in Minnesota having open heart surgery and pretty much not fishing in 2025. So that's, worst case scenario. So the procedure that I had today, it's called a TEE, a transischemic something. I'm wearing my Scope and Hope hat. If you guys saw on Instagram or Facebook today, what they basically do is they knock you out. So I had an anesthesiologist put me to sleep. They run a transducer. Yes, a transducer. They run a transducer down your throat and into your lungs. And he was able to put it right next to this area so they can get a very clear picture of, that damaged, defective area in my heart. And what he saw today looks like good news. He tells me he thinks he's fine. He's never been wrong. He said he guessed wrong once and sent somebody to the Mayo Clinic for open heart 20 years ago. But it turned out the guy, it was just scar tissue and defect and it was okay. But he is very confident that that's what it is scar tissue. He's going to, he works in a practice with two other, and these are, three of the top heart surgeons in the country, happen to work here in, Indiana, up in Indianapolis. Dr. Barron up at the Indiana Heart Physicians. But he's very confident that what he's seeing is not it's not tissue that's built up that can break off and lead to a stroke. He's very confident it's just, scar tissue based on the defect in my heart. So he's so confident. He already told me, get back to working out, do your stuff and things, and go fish. He's also a fan of the Fishing with Gramps YouTube channel. He lurks. He watches videos every now and then. He doesn't care about the rod and reel reviews and whatnot. He likes actually watching my on the water fishing videos. So it was good to get that clearance today. I have to stay home yet again tomorrow because I was on, I was knocked out and under. He will have the two guys review. He probably had him do it this afternoon, but I should get the thumbs up from all three of them probably tomorrow. And as soon as that's good to go, then my ass is back in the kettlebell. But yeah, Gramps had the old forward facing sonar down the sitting down next to the heart, but they are very confident that everything's okay. He said in probably 15 years, and I'll be like 70 at that point. But he said, in 15 years, that will probably be a thing where I will have to go as a 70-year-old up to Mayo Clinic and have open heart surgery. But he says the way the technology keeps changing by then, it'll probably be very something up where they can run something up through an artery or, wherever and, do it, the way they clean out a lot of other things in the body these days. But it's one of those things they have to be very, yeah, Josh is 100%. It really should have been side scan because he was looking sideways but he was pointing at the target too. So it could have been a little bit of both. But, it's weird because, they knock you out and he's like, oh, you're going to have a sore throat and this and that. And I was like, I don't feel nothing. I actually, since I had to fast since yesterday, and my favorite Chinese restaurant of all time is like a mile away because this is right up in the neighborhood where I used to live in Indy. I had to stop by and see my old boy Hi and get me some hot braised chicken. So, yep, got a little cheat day. Got my hot chicken a day early. But so that is some very good news, and it should be better news tomorrow once I get 100% cleared. Like I said, I'll be working from home tomorrow. Yeah, that's with Big Loan. You're 100% correct. Yeah, but it's just one of those things. It's something I have to be conscious of and pay attention to. Make sure I take my medications. But I did get a message from my cousin who works up there, and I should have went and seen her. If I wasn't so hungry, I probably would have. That my cousin is a cardiology nurse. Now she's way up in the food chain now. She's master degree level, and we all pride ourselves on having our master's degrees. But she has known my doctor for as long as I've lived in Indiana since 1990 whatever. But she works in that hospital, and she sent me a note saying if you need me, call me. I was like, I'm good. But so we should be good to go. My biggest fear was I was going to have to take off the whole year and recover, because you never know how that kind of stuff goes. And but I didn't even want to put it in my head that I wouldn't be able to ever go kayak fish again. But it's one of those things. So that was my good news for the day. And I'm getting texts from our guests from Thursday night's live, Chad, and we've got Stormy from Dakota Lithium coming on, Mr. Craig Storms. But yeah, so I had some good news, and then the next good news. So like I said, I'll know tomorrow 100% my fishing year, my plans are, I really I wanted to go fish the Kissimmee Chain Bassmaster event. But I knew that was once I knew that I had this thing scheduled, I just like wrote that completely off. So at least that's some good news. So I probably gave a couple pounds and I stopped carnivore when, we went through this, and I just kind of went back to I do the best when I'm kind of counting my calories and exercising. But now that I'm cleared, I'm back on, eating right, eating, not eating junk and just eating good. And then I'll be starting my workouts again this week too. So I put on a few pounds, but that's okay. I'm still net gained down a bunch, and with I'm chasing Gene. He got to the 200 mark, and he's down in Florida chasing big fish, and I got 70 pounds to go, and I'll be there too by another year. So LNB Outlaw said he just got stickers in the mail. Thanks a lot, man. I didn't realize the price of postage has like tripled or at least doubled in a half. I mail stuff out, but I bought like last year normally when I buy a new set of stickers to give out to everybody, I would go get like a roll of 100 stamps. And I'm glad I bought those Forever stamps when they were 32 cents because yeah, they're up there now. But had a new member join this week, and I'll be sending him out a sticker pack too. So we got the new Fisherman Gramps, got some more Freedom Squad stickers coming in. And of course, I got the Everything Kayak Fishing for our Everything Kayak Fishing podcast that we'll be talking to. So that was my good news. The second bit of good news, my youngest, who you guys, I probably mentioned at some point in time, um, he checked himself into the VA, got some help, and spent the last several months. Um, he spent the last few months in the VA, going through one of their programs, and he got his medication sorted out. He's 90. Oh, I hope John Michael's online. He's 90 some days sober, and that's a good thing because I'm not gonna tell his story because it's his to tell, but a little bit. He was one of these guys, young infantryman that was diagnosed with a bunch of shit, and possibly could lead to some other stuff, but was on some medication to help with a lot of that stuff. And of course, when you're on those kind of medications, you can't drink. And I mean, I get it. I feel for him because you're a 25, 26-year old young man. Your friends are drinking, have a good time, partying, doing what young men do, and you can't do it. So he kind of weaned himself off his medications so he can have good time with his buddies. And it really had a toll on his mental health. So he knew after that last episode, and yeah, stamps are 72 cents. He knew after that last episode that he needed help, and he went and sought and got help. So I'm very proud. Very proud. I mean, all three of my sons have had to go through some of that stuff after they got out of the service. But I'm very proud of this young man for going and getting the treatment that he needed, realizing that he needed it, and back on his medications, living life. He just moved down to Kentucky with a girlfriend, and that kid is my heart. You guys know that he's named after me. Of course, all my kids are, but for those you did know, John Michael, we almost lost him when he was a year old, and that may be a story I have to tell when we're on the water sometime. But yeah, he had an accident when he was a year old, and we almost lost him. It was bad, but literally touched by God, give him back to us. He grew up to be a great kid, great young man, served in the infantry, come back, and is working his way. And his thing is working with kids. If you guys work in child health at all, he's an RBT with career goals of progressing and doing more to help kids. But he's always been great with kids, and he's a great young man. Of course, all of mine are. They're different, unique in their own ways. And my daughter just continues to amaze me every day. But I'm blessed, and I know I'm blessed. But my kids are my heart. My grandkids are my heart, and of course, Gran is too. But yeah, I didn't want to keep you guys on long tonight. I wanted to, have a little bit of a chat, but I'm actually going to, now that I'm kind of done with all the heart throbbing, banging on your heartstrings and letting you know that I'm okay. I will be fishing this year. I've kind of condensed my schedule a little bit. I'll get into my schedule here in a minute, but I got to say, going into the 2025 season, yeah, it's like she said, I'm glad he went and got help. We need more men to speak out for men's mental health. And I'm actually probably going to do a video series on that because I've always been that guy that never admitted that I have issues of my own to deal with when it comes to mental health, because I've always felt like I had to be that dad, that brother, that father, for somebody else. And I never realized that all the pressure that I've put on myself, through work, career, you know, it's always been something that I've kind of buried and never dealt with. And, you know, Jeremy has taught me about dealing with that. Matt has taught me dealing with that. Our Freedom Squad guys gives me some place where I don't have to be strong for one of my kids or my wife or somebody at work or somebody else. The Freedom Squad, the three of us, it's someplace we can get on the water. And, I can't tell you guys how many conversations we've had where there's no cameras running just because we needed to be dudes on the water, being dudes and being able to talk and share with each other and keep each other strong and supported. And, like I said, I've always felt like I couldn't be that guy that opened up, but those two really allowed me to be able to do that. And it's important for everybody to find something like that too if you're struggling, and then not bottle it up and not keep it in. And you're not weak if you seek help, because you don't want to get it to a point where it can turn into something that you never want it to be, and then you break everybody's hearts, feeling like that you're a burden on somewhere. And um, that's why programs like Fish Ops, the Fish Operations, Prevent Suicide, and the several other names that it goes with, um, means so much to me and the boys and girls at Freedom Squad, because Freedom Squad is more about, military guys, veterans, homeland heroes, patriots. It's about having freedom. So if you struggle, reach out to us, Freedom Squad Fishing Facebook. There's a lot of us out there. Everybody's got, stuff going. But yeah, well, we're a network for each other, and we continue to grow. I keep telling Jeremy I need to stop saying, like Gramps Fishing Fam, and start mentioning Freedom Squad, because the Freedom Squad is our fishing family. Freedom Squad is directly tied to this channel and to the OEF5 Twitch channel. And me, Matt, and Jeremy are just three dudes who need it, promoted it. And Sly, I'll go back and read comments later. When I get to talking, I don't really pay attention to chat until I'm kind of done, when I'm in my own headspace right now. But I'll go back, and trust me, I'll go back and look at it. I saw you posted a comment. I'll go back and read up. But a little bit at a time. But speaking of Fish Ops, KBF, let me talk a little bit about, since now I am going to fish this year. I do have to give a shout out, because the Fishing with Gramps YouTube channel is, like I said, we started that up to pay homage to my grandfather. But of course, I've taken on the persona of Gramps, because I guess, and I had my buddies at work call me Gramps, it's just become who I am. And I love and I embrace that. And, what do you guys think about the new backlit back there? But I got to thank again the channel partners who've reached out and supported this channel along the way. First and foremost, as always, my first ever American Legacy Fishing. We continue to work together and grow. My favorite tackle shop. If you're looking for rods, reels, if you want to trade stuff in, you can get credit to buy new gear. They have a great selection of used gear, because a lot of people just, like the first CI4 Stradic, which is sitting right there. And I decided to keep that up on the wall and quit fishing with it. Just like my old Corrado, the Bantam that I got from Sly Fox, and the Castaic I got from Hellabass. I've decided to make those like my trophies and keep them up there too. But the very first used reel I ever bought from American Legacy is that CI4 Stradic sitting up there. And I love their trade-in program. Next, Fish Texas kayak trailers, my favorite kayak trailer in the market. I'll be picking my third one up here at the Bassmaster Classic in a few weeks, dare I say. And I gave Nick some ideas of what I wanted, but told him just do what you want to do. I need a double, and I said just Fish Texas kayak it out. So I don't even know what I'm getting. I know I'm getting a double, because I need to be able to haul the XDR and the PWR for when we do veteran floats and, taking my boys out and whatnot. But other than that, we'll see what he comes up with. Moving Water Outfitters here in Zionsville, Indiana. It's like our premier kayak outfitting shop in Indiana. If you're anywhere near Indianapolis, go to Zionsville, and, the boys up there will take care of you. Matt gets his kayaks from there. Bobby's got kayaks from there. There's several of us that got our kayaks from Moving Water Outfitters up in Zionsville, Indiana. Of course, I'm partnering again with Monster Bass. I believe everything that Rick and them are doing. I like the fact, even if you don't like subscription boxes, if you want something that you can buy for somebody to get them started into fishing, that's got a pamphlet and some new baits and things that you may not have played with, it's a great option to go check out. I still find them better than any other subscription box or bag out there, but also the fact that they, buy bulk things and items and put them on their shop. I love their merch. The sun shirts are great to fish in. Their hats are quality. And I always dig stuff like that. Plus they come up with funny stickers and things like that. And again, if you're looking for a good quality, affordable, fishing rod, under $150, the Lunker Sticks is hard to beat. I'm actually going to do a full breakdown video of my last year and a half with the Lunker Sticks, including the tournament that I fished in, where I fished in sixth. And shows that they're a very good rod for the price. Like I've told everybody, I don't take money from Monster Bass. I trade my time for their stuff. And, we get along great. And I love helping Rick, do things just to, make it better. Partnering again with Catch Outdoors. For those of you who enjoyed the Knucklehead trophies last year, that's the kind of stuff he does. And of course, I think my collection of catch boards, I've probably got 5 at least right now, even though I've given away 3 different ones, and I've got another one coming in sometime in the next week or 3. Who knows? But yeah, still Catch Outdoors. I am a brand ambassador for Newport Vessels, and all that really means is I can get you a discount, and I use it too. Yeah, apparently, if I sold like 10 motors or something, I can win a free one. I don't know. But I wanted to partner with them because I wanted the Newport Vessels and to save that, and they also offer a discount for they also offer a military discount. I need to turn my stuff up too far over. But they also offer a military discount, so be sure to ask for that if you go. But I've also put links in my descriptions if you want to buy a Newport motor. They also have batteries and things like that. Grande Bass, I'm partnering up with again. Bait company that was bought by it's now bought, and it's run by the Rafi from Monster Bass. Love the Grande Bass soft blacks because they're different. They were doing some things that were then copied by other people, but it happens. That's bait making. But caught a lot of big. I probably caught like 3 or 4 different PBs on or lake PBs last year on a bunch of the Grande Bass baits. So I'm really, loving them too. Of course, I continue to be a brand ambassador and work with Kayak Bass Fishing. I accepted the role and position of a KBF board advisor. So I'm part of the advisory board now that's led by Marty Hughes. He's the director of that. But I'm also the director of operations for Fish Ops. So anything Catch 22, and all of the things that fall under Fish Ops, that's me. I'm working with Chad to help take care of that, because truly it's something I believe in. There's other directors that are going to be talking about, like Jeff Little covering safety and education, Marty Hughes, who oversees all of us, Garrett Wade, who's a professional bass angler, oversees the tournament type stuff, and then Lynn Yester is our mama bear and gives us her, perspective. And she's the one who calculates where everybody sits and standings for, the KBF NC and all that too. But another adventure I'm going to be jumping in on this year is becoming an influencer for the Kayak Adventure Series. I can't tell you guys, and if you've seen the videos, I'm sure you have, I had such a blast and love working with Drew and those guys over at Kayak Adventure Series. I'll be I know I'll be at 2 of them at least. I'll be at the one in Ohio because it's close by, and then the main one that I'm planning for is up in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and I so can't wait for that one too. But yeah, Drew and the guys over at Kayak Adventure Series, another great one, and so I look forward to doing a lot of that too. But I only plan on doing one Bassmaster event this year. That'll be the Dale Hollow event because it's close by. I'm not to the point yet where I'm retired and I can just travel. So my schedule so far this year is I will be at the Bassmaster Classic. I will be at the KBF National Championship in April in Gunnersville. So the Classic's in March. The KBF NC in April. And then I can't remember what dates follow what, but you've got the Bassmaster Del Hollow. You got the Kayak Adventure Series in Ohio, which I think is in June. And then I think the next month, July, is when the Kayak Adventure Series up in St. Cloud is. Nearer term, I'll be over at the Columbus, Ohio Expo. February 9th is the day that I will be there. Our friends from like Raccoon Creek Outfitters will be there. Drew will be there. Bass Fishing HQ will be there. Andrew from Tackle Talk will be there. I know he's doing a seminar. The guys from Big Bass Dreams are going to be there, and Shoopman, I never remember his first name, is an Ohio hammer from he's an Ohio kayak hammer. He'll be there doing doing a seminar on flipping, pitching, and punching from a kayak. So there's all kinds of good stuff going on at that show. And then I still haven't looked at when the Indie Boat Sport and Travel Show will be there. But of course, we'll pick a day and be up there for that too, because we've got too many good friends up there, moving water outfitters and so forth. And then sprinkled in all of that, I will be fishing some grubby events since they're going to be on bogs this year. Some Southern Indiana yak anglers. These are our local trails. For those of you out of the state, these are like our local stuff. So I'll do a few of those events here and there. But honestly, my number one goal this year, fishing wise, I've got two. One is to catch a 20-inch smallmouth bass, and there will be a lot of focus on that. But if you didn't know or weren't aware, KBF as a club is establishing KBF state record entries on a catch board or a Yak Attack leaderboard for the KBF. So, like in Indiana, we got two guys. And what we're doing this year in 2025 is we're collecting entries. Any tournament that you fished in the past where you've got it on a catch board or a leaderboard and you've uploaded that somewhere where it's been verified, whether it's Tourney X or Fishing Chaos, the biggest one that we can find for each state will become that state's state record, both largemouth and smallmouth, right? Then in 2026, there's going to be contests and stuff to be won if you break that state record. But we'll be more on that as it comes out. But if you catch a giant fish, make sure you put it on any state that you're in. And all you got to do is be a KBF ambassador member and above, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But and if you're not an ambassador member above, hey, join the club. Let's help grow this thing. There's 12,000 of us around the country. I'd love to see us get that to 13 or 14,000. They've added new ones this year for Homeland Heroes, veterans. You still got the ambassador, and you've got the premier, and then you got lifetime. But yeah, consider joining KBF. It goes a long ways, and you'll see that there'll be regional events. So we might do something like a KBF month long that's in your region. So like Indiana's in the Great Lakes region. So that's Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And that's pretty cool because, those guys up north can catch giant smallies equivalent to pretty much like the smallie or the largemouth we catch down here. But eventually we want to get where we're having fish camps and things like that, where Chad and Austin visit various regions and we have a big boondoggle, a big get together. So that will be fun. And I love seeing KBF. And it's not like I didn't like the trail and all that and the pro stuff. That's cool. But honestly, to me, kayak bass fishing as a club, the online challenges, the get-togethers, the NC for me is enough big tournament that I need. But the get-togethers, the hanging out, bringing people together, for me, that's what it's all about. Now, I know a lot of guys, they want to go get that big check, that big trophy. Cool. I'd love to I'd love to have a big old trophy check or something back there. That'd be cool. I get my participation trophies. Every now and then I get 100 board. But outside of that, I'm a recreational angler. I fish for therapy. I fish for therapy for my friends. And, I want to get back to even the content on this channel being more about that too. We can go fish derbs and have fun because I don't care anymore. I get ticked off when I lose a fish in a big derb, but realistically, I know I'm there to meet more people, be around people, and do all of that. You know what I mean? So I had to say thank you to all the channel partners. I got to give a shout out to those I'm not partnered with, but I've got some discounts from in the past that's helped out the channel. Bonafide Kayaks, they gave me a military discount for me and Jeremy to get our PWR 129s back then. And of course, since then, I got my XTR 130. That's going to be the old scoping boat. Got to give a shout out to Dakota Lithium. You can get, I like fishing with I'm not going to lie. The older I get, the more I want to spend on quality. I'd rather buy something once and not cry about it than keep buying the same thing over and over. I did the cheap batteries thing for a while. You replace them, you replace them, you replace them, you replace them. I could have bought one Dakota Lithium that would have lasted me, an 11-year warranty. That's just me. I know everybody don't have a budget like that. I buy Dakota Lithium. I've got 7 of them. I've actually had Dakota Lithium and KBF donate some to me to give away to you guys. We gave away a few different Dakota Lithium power boxes. We gave away, I think, two over the years, 2 of the 23-volt batteries. And so, I've even appreciated them, hooking me up to give stuff away. And that's, again, why I invited, Stormy on live with Chad. And we're going to discuss the 2 men who powered kayak bass fishing. And then I got to give a shout out to Yak Attack. I used to talk to John Hipster all the time. He's moved on and got a new job. But Yak Attack to me makes the primo best accessories. And I know there's other guys out there. I'm just a big fan of them. I like, Kuipers when he sold it and moved on to do other things. But Yak Attack makes premium quality kayak accessories. And I'm going to reach out and maybe try to partner up with them one of these days. I got a little bit of a discount from them being a YouTuber, but I really would like to grow that relationship because I really believe in their products. I actually like their phone holders so much. I bought 2 of them, one for the kayak and one I actually keep mounted in my truck because it's cheaper and sturdier than most of the crappy phone mounts you get in your cars these days. So yeah, I drilled into my dash, put the mount there, and I have that, in my truck. So I go from my kayak straight back to my truck, and then I use it every day whenever I travel around. Plus, it's cool. I can kind of turn it and adjust it if I want to do any filming when I'm driving. It makes it nice. So yeah, hey, why not? Or you can also turn it sideways and watch the Atlanta Braves or Indiana Hoosiers playing when you're on the road, even though you shouldn't be doing that. But I had to give a shout out for Yak Attack too, because I think they're really cool products. Oh my goodness. Any questions for me? I'm not going to keep you guys long. There is a Darren Wendell's got Bearded Paddler on tonight talking about, good kayaks and bad kayaks in the fishing industry and where we're at. And that should make for an interesting live. Did anybody, like I said, I did this on a whim. Sunday, I dropped an episode about everything bass fishing, or bass fishing news for you, whatever. I just did a kind of a roundup of what's going on in Bassmaster. I'll start it up with, Major League Fishing and then cover, the kayak, bass tournaments and things like that, cover some podcasts, cover some YouTube videos that I thought were pretty cool. Where did you get that cup holder, fish finder holder? I'll have to go back and look. The one I had was just a Yak Attack, in the middle of my. But yeah, Ralph says he's looking forward to get out of California in 2025. But but yeah, any questions you guys have, let me know. Oh, yeah, give me your feedback because I know when we first start something like this, most of the comments I got were for most of the people who watch all my videos anyway, and I love you guys 100% because you watch all my videos. But we did start seeing some comments from a few other people, and my thing is I'd never fish Sunday afternoon because I know I got to get up and go to work at 4:30 in the morning on. I got to get up and go to work at 4:30 on, Monday morning. So I figure I can collect, my notes through the week, shoot it on Sunday and get it edited and posted and, and throw that up there. But you guys, I kind of wanted to do some commentary, but it seems like every time we hear from somebody, it's all negative crap. It's either Randy complaining about forward facing in between giving some decent tips, so-and-so covering Milliken going to jail and drama. I think that's funny, but I don't want to make those negative videos to get people to come to the channel. But I also, I like to chit chat and I kind of keep track of everything that's going on anyway. So if you guys think that's something I should continue to do, drop me a comment after this video, throw a thumbs up, whatever you want to do. Let me know if I should keep it up. if you found that somewhat entertaining. My goal is maybe I will put you on a video or a podcast or a piece of information that you didn't know about and that you might not know that you cared about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to kind of keeping track of everything that's going on. I always like to be the guy who's in the know. I could literally do this in politics as well, but YouTube hates that. Um, so I will stick with what I know, and you may not be somebody who cares about the boat, the boat side, but there are a lot of us that have been fishing for 40 years who Bassmaster was the first bass club we belonged to. Because I'm a life member at Bassmaster, I'm a life member at the NRA, and I'm a life member at Kayak Bass Fishing. It's easy to see where I find my loves. Don't get me wrong, I haven't been and become a life member at Major League Fishing because I don't know if they offer one, but I actually love the Major League Fishing format more for tournaments than I do the Bassmaster. But I will always go because we like going to the Bassmaster Classic and we like going to Red Crest. But I'm a fan of both. I'm glad we have both. LNB Outlaw says he wants an XTR 130. Just started kayak fishing last year. It's a Perception Outlaw. Yeah, and I mean, bro, that's it's funny because Jeremy and I were talking. It's hard to believe we started out in our little. I had a red one, and he had a blue one, a Sun Dolphin from Walmart. I remember Jeremy telling the story where he was out fishing by himself and rolled it, and then he had all of his rods tucked down in his legs, and got kind of pinned, and that was the scariest that he's ever had encountered in it. But then I remember getting like I can't remember what it was. I've got it somewhere, but it was like a 14-foot fishing kayak. That wasn't a big brand name, but that lasted a few years. Then eventually ended up in the the Old Town. You or Chad planning on going to Red Crest this year? I believe Chad is going to Red Crest, and I believe Matt OEF5, Charlie, he was the big guy that was with me when we were at Red Crest last year. I believe they will be at Red Crest again. I am saving my vacation so I can go to the Classic. I try to mix it up. I went to the Classic the year before. I went to Red Crest last year, and we went to the Classic the year before. Army Outdoors was there, and it was so funny because we were all walking around, and they were like Ralph was saying that he was like my entourage because I hadn't walked in the door more than 5 seconds when somebody they hear somebody yell Gramps from across the way, and they all started rolling. Up, security! Got to protect Gramps. Keep your eyes out. They were freaking. I enjoyed every minute. Every time I'm out someplace, I love meeting you guys. I love being out with the Freedom Squad when we do it. But I mean that trip for me was truly eye opening. I mean, I never felt like I never felt like my YouTube channel would get me someplace where I would have people, doing what they were doing. But Jeremy and Ralph and them, they were just, I mean, they were cracking up over this shit. It was a great time. It truly, truly was. And it just lets me know again how much I am blessed by all of you out there who watch my little silly. Yeah. And then, yeah, they had on them in the back of a pick 'em up truck. Oh my gosh. That was such a great time. But yeah, I mean, it was a blast. But I can't tell you guys enough how much I appreciate all the support you guys give. But like I said, I should know tomorrow. The heart should be good to go. I know. I'm not going to be flying or going up to the Mayo Clinic for open heart surgery. At least that's what he's confident of. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to be able to go and do all the things I wanted to do. But it's got to be health first, and with the heart is something you can't play with. So like I said, I should hear back from the other 2 doctors tomorrow. And, if they win, they give me a clean bill of health tomorrow. I'll be back and get my workouts on and planning my trips as we had kind of planned. But other than that, I'll be cranking out some videos. I got to get the XTR back here in the man cave so I can finish getting it rigged. I'm about halfway done. I've got to mount my electronics and my lights, and that should be it. I got all the foot steering, the power, all of that stuff run. I was waiting for some other stuff to come in, but I had to move it out of here because the grandbabes were here. last weekend. But yeah, it sucks. I spent all that time painting my garage so I can use that for a rigging room. And then it got Arctic cold, so cold that it's not safe for me to leave my boat outside. So I had to put the boat in the garage. And so, hopefully tomorrow I'm going to push the boat out, bring my kayak back in here, and then put the boat back in the garage until winter's over. And then in springtime, we'll decide whether or not we're going to sell it. But I saw some open water in the creeks down, running around there, Mr. Southwest. So if you and wifey are looking at getting on the water, we should have some 50 degrees. So I actually saw a guy. I saw a kayak on the White River right before Martinsville today. It was right going out of south of Indy, down towards Martinsville, but there was a kayak on the water, and I'm pretty sure that's where Shrenko told me he kind of started his smallie fishing at. So I doubt it was him in the kayak. He'd probably be in the jet boat this time of year, but somebody was out there. Somebody was out there on the White River, just south of Indy, just south at the exit where Jeremy used to live, about halfway down. So yeah, I did see a kayaker on the water today. It's kind of funny. Jeremy says they've been ice fishing over on bogs. Yep. I've seen some of our friends farther up north. Yeah, Tweezy, I wished I had the yak rigged, or I'd be hitting a Newton too, but that's where I plan on breaking this thing in as soon as I get it rigged. So probably within the next few weeks if we keep getting some 50-degree days. So I'll probably hit you up like on a Friday or something if you want to roll over there after I get it done. But other than that, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to go finish my Chinese. Yeah, lots of water down there in Georgia. Yeah, and keep an eye out this weekend. The Bassmaster Kayak Series is down on the Kissimmee chain. And Gene, the Fluke Master, told me he thinks there's going to be at least a couple of double-digit bass caught. Somebody's going to catch. Somebody down there's going to catch one over 10. Of course, we're hoping it's him and all those guys too. But we'll keep up with what's happening, and then we'll be back with the news on Sunday. But I'll be back on live Thursday with Chad and Mr. Craig Storms from Dakota Lithium. Thanks, everybody, for popping in and swinging in tonight. I'm glad I was able to at least give you this news because I've been sitting on this for a little bit, and I hate being that way, but I didn't want people to worry. I don't like people to worry, especially about me. But yeah, we look like we're on a road to a clean bill of health, and all of that too. So Slyfox is saying Gina's got a workbook for Gramps. If it's something that you can email, you can send it to fishingwithgramps@gmail.com, or Sly just text me or whatever, and we'll have a conversation. I'll be here. But yeah, I thank you all for the prayers. It meant a lot for me today. I knew my wife, I love her to death for having to deal with me in this. And we're here for each other. She's been through a few bouts of cancer. And I knew when they wheeled me back to go to anesthesiology, I knew she was heading out the door, that she was going outside and start walking around the building, because that's generally what either one of us do in times of trouble. So I knew where she was headed when she kissed me and said she'll see me later, and she did. So we're still here. We're still kicking, and we're all doing it. But the old ticker's doing good so far, and I will be murdering. I can't even say it on YouTube anymore. I'll be unaliving some kettlebells over the next few weeks, and then I'll get my walking and whatnot back on too. But thank you guys for popping in. I love the support. And everybody who's going to be at the Ohio Boat Show or the Fishing Expo in Ohio, February 9th, I should be there with Bobby might come. Greg from Hook Life and I will be there, and we'll be walking around, seeing everybody. I want to get over to Achigan brand and get me a new some Fatties merch. If you know, you know. If you don't, I will be educating you soon. Thank you guys. Love you. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for taking care of me. And yeah, can't wait to get with you all again and get on the water this year and get this season going. I like the wintertime because it lets me kind of recharge, shoot some videos about rods and reels, and talk about all the nerdy stuff like that too. But yep, I'm looking forward to getting this kayak rigged and then getting back on the water and trying to find some big fish, because I want to try to find a 23-inch bass here in Indiana. February 8th. Yep, 8th, 9th, whatever it is. The Saturday. I will be there on the Saturday. If I said something else, I will be there on the Saturday, because I got to go pick up a kayak from Drew. Thank you guys once again. I'm going to get out of here and let Darren and them get on with his live stream. As always, get outside when you can and make some memories. Or you can at least dream about it. One cast at a time.